API Conference, Elevating API Literacy.
Good morning, everyone. I did not expect that this hall will be this full by this time. So let's give a round of applause for ourselves. Like when they told me I was going to be the first speaker, I thought like, yo, like tech conferences typically start by 10. This is like 10:20. So I mean, this is really impressive. So today we're going to be talking about effective product discovery for API products. And I mean, this is a topic that's dear to me because I've worked on the APIs for a while, right? So I mean, a bit of my work has touched around like health tech, fintech, prop tech, and all that kind of stuff. So I've worked. I mean, my work has touched around fintech, prop tech, and and health tech as well. Has anyone heard about Mono here? All right. So Reliance Health, Property Pro. Mono's product primarily is APIs, right? We build developer tools for financial services and open banking. And I think that's when I just really became passionate about APIs and just really like finding out what they are and like how to make them effective for our people. And that's what inspired my talk today. So I'll start this with this. Did anybody see the streets? Uh, so so there was I don't know where to start from, but I'm not going to name and shame. Nobody should ask me for that, please. But what happened was I was trying to integrate with a partner, and we had spent a lot of time, finding out about them and all, and they were like, "Oh, this is the cheapest. We have to go with them." And then, we had integrated these guys, and we were already live. We were on prod. We were moving, and then my developer hits me up one day and is like, "Oh, like money is not moving." I'm like, "How?" And so we went in and we called the guys, like, what's going on? They're like, oh, like, by the way, we didn't tell you, but by 7 o'clock, our system closes for the day. And I'm like, how? Like, you're a fintech, like, you're into payments. Like, how can you close by 7? And they're like, oh, like, it's because of fraud. So the system closes by 7, and then the reconciliation system picks up and starts settling the transactions for the day. And then by 12, it now starts again till 7. And I'm like, that makes no sense, right? But these guys are big. Like if I mention the company, you guys will be shocked. But like I won't, right? No, 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 no. The people might be here, so please, so I can go home safely. But that's an example of people not doing good research, right? And even discovering like why they are building their product. And that's pretty much what inspired my talk today. Um, just really understanding the problem. So, what is product discovery? So, product discovery is essentially roadmap to understand your users. What are you building for, right? What is the functionality? What's the user interactions? And how do I make my product indispensable in the market we're building for? Now, I'll give an example of a financial services product. They didn't know that they needed to run a 24-hour service, right? But that is the occasion. Like, imagine you logging into your bank app and it doesn't open because they close for the day. Do you understand? Like you will go the next day and pull your money, right? So it gives a sense of like insecurity, right? And that's what bad research can do, right? And product discovery is really understanding how you can avoid that, right? How you can build for your users. Now on APIs, there's so many different types of APIs. There's public APIs, the ones that you give to everyone. There's partner APIs. I'm integrating with the company, right? Um, we need to share information, right? There are internal APIs, the APIs that you use for your platform team to make your developers like move fast. And there's so many others, right? But depending on your use case, you need to be able to discover and know what you're building for and who your users are and what they need. Um, and so, what are some common challenges, right? In API product discovery, right? The first one is misinterpreting user requirements without research, right? So the average person that builds API products maybe believes that, oh, I just need to, there's somebody already doing this. I could put a wrapper around it and just like push it out, right? But you need to research, right? What is this API is going to be used for? What people are going to be using it? What market is this? What sector, right? What market? What is the use case, right? Down to what people already have done in that space, right? And so that's the first thing. So no user research. You don't think you need to research. The second thing is struggling to align the capabilities with the evolving landscape. And it still ties back to um, and technology advancements as well. It ties back to research, right? How is the market changing, right? What is technology? What is how is technology changing, right? What are the new popular technologies that I need to cater for from my API? And then the last one is scalability and security, right? Today we're talking about data privacy and everything. I think there's a session here about that. And so it's really important, right, that security and scalability issues are there, right? For example, I cater my API to cater to 200 people, right? My product grows tomorrow to 2K, right? And I didn't cater for it, right? The thing is breaking. That's an issue, right? And so the other things is costly revisions and vulnerability. Somebody is able to reverse engineer your APIs, right? You don't know this, right? And yes, you're working in health tech, it might not be a problem, but in fintech, I can tell you that 100K on your DB can come out in real cash, and the person will go to the bank and spend it, right? And so that's how important it is. And so these are some challenges that I've noticed over my years, like working. I think at Reliance, I think it was one of the things that I really had the opportunity to work on. So there was a time we were trying to do like partner APIs as well. I didn't even these were not things that were in my mind at the time. Because what I wanted to do was, you're a partner, you want to integrate health insurance into your products, take APIs and do that, right? But I wasn't thinking about anybody reverse engineering me, right? When I went to fintech, right, I saw the light. And so these things change across sectors. The next slide. So, what are some key strategies to do this, right? The first thing is user research, right? You have to conduct interviews, you have to speak to people, you have to do surveys, right? So, speaking to people, the first thing is who are the people? The developers, they're the ones integrating your product. You want to speak to developers. Okay, how should this API work? What should my responses look like? You're used to 200 success, 401, whatever, right? I need to know how this works for you so that I ship it in a way. What are the languages that I should prioritize for that, right? And you want to be able to get user insights. Who are the people that are currently doing this? How are they currently doing it, right? Because you want to also be able to position your product in a way that you can take off customers from your computer. I mean, this is like how product people think, but like that's pretty much how you should think about it. And then feedback loops, right? That's the next part, right? You want to develop prototypes, right? And I'll get an example of prototypes in later on. You want to get feedback. In Mono, we run like a developer community where like people are able to give us feedback on our product. Oh, I tried this thing, it's not working. Why is it responding like this? That's one of the places that I spent a lot of my time, right? Just understanding what people were giving feedback on. What are the places? How do they even discover your product, right? For example, oh, I'm online, I'm pushing it, right? Do you need to break into developer communities? Do you need to speak at developer events? You understand? Do they need sandbox environments? Those are some of the things that you get based on feedback loops, right? And then the last part, market analysis, right? You want to regularly analyze the market for trends, right? So things are changing, right? Now there's a lot of AI tools, right, that you can put and will help you like optimize some of your codes for some of your languages, right? There's a lot of things that change in terms of data privacy. Data privacy will not really be a problem maybe 2 3 years ago, but now like any any investor you're going to pick money from, or even the regulatory, right? If you if you've had to deal with those guys before, um, I think you understand. I mean, when you live in Nigeria, you think like things are very like basic, but when you have to deal with those guys in terms of data privacy, you understand that they're very serious with their work. Um, Next slide. I think ending it would be with a case study, right? Stripe. So I came across this landing page like what I think like about a year ago, right? So there's a site called Wayback. I think Wayback something, Wayback Machine, right? And so if you go back to when Stripe started, this was their landing page. It wasn't like very simple. This is pretty much an MVP. I'm sure at this time they hadn't even built a product, right? But all they had on their landing page was an API that gets you out of the way. You can see the CURL, what you need to pass, right? And I mean, I updated the version of the slide, but I'm not sure if they have it yet. But if you press this drop down, you pretty much just see five API calls, right? Create a charge, retrieve a charge, I think refund the charge, or it was just like four, right? Um, and then for the CURL, you would see like different languages. I think there were just two languages or three. Python, Ruby, and Java, right? That was what they prioritized at the time. And based on their user research, they felt like this is what people would want to use us for. I think the pricing at the time too was a bit outrageous. Like when I saw it, and that's why you would know that it's an MVP in terms of type testing and prototyping, right? Their pricing was 2.9 or 3% at the time. And I mean, if you think about it now, for those in fintech, like if somebody tells you that 3.5% of a transaction will go to a payment processor, you will run away. And so those are just the ideas that I've seen over the time. And then today, right, this is what their docs look like. It's a ton of information. Like if you go there, you probably be overwhelmed. And they are also evolving this, trying to change how it looks for people, right? So before you get to developer docs, the first thing they would ask is what are you looking for? What are you looking to do? And they're able to like streamline the information for you based on that. Um, I would end this talk, right? And all these my jargons, where is it going to? The scope is product discovery is very important, whether you're building a user-facing tool or an API. And we need to take the same learning that we have from consumer products to API products to make sure our developers are happy, right? And I can tell you for a fact that if you build good developer products, the money will follow because the developers have a strong influence on the tools their companies use, right? And if you make your developers happy, you'll make the money with the bank. And so I'll end this quote by Matt Kagan. Matt Kagan is one of the big product leaders in the ecosystem, right? And he says behind every product, you'll find someone that knows the customer, that knows the data, the business, and the industry, working tirelessly to create value for their customers and the business. And with that, I say thank you for listening to my talk. You can connect to me on Twitter. That's my handle. I post serious stuff and joking stuff. Thank you.
API Conference, Elevating API Literacy.